got Leo Cannyn in the house, and Leo, you are a local home inspector. You're a project manager with Beryl Engineering, so you're helping people with structural issues and relating to any kind of sinkhole activity. Sometimes when you build close to a lake, you've got the organics in the ground, so you've got a wealth of knowledge around that space.
Yeah, and actually tomorrow I can't talk about where, but I'll be doing a state of Florida, what's known as a neutral evaluation of a sinkhole property. That's where basically I'm hosting a mediation on site between the insurance company and the homeowner on behalf of the state of Florida to resolve a sinkhole claim. That's very exciting. Got one of those tomorrow. Can't tell you the address, but it's taken them 5.5 years to get to this point for tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy. When you get tied up in litigation, man, it just drains bank accounts. It causes frustration. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen lawsuits that the lawyers will sit there with their clients and discuss, if we go to trial, it's going to cost you X, client is suing for Y. We can cut our losses by giving the money now, and it just helps promote the litigious society we're in.
Right. It's such a litigious society. I mean, it really is. And, so your firm does, many different types of inspections. You go in, you do the structural on properties. You go in and you do the you can also do the permitting process as well, help the counties instead of waiting on the county permitter, inspector to come out. We can do it in lieu of. And I guarantee you these 10 photos we're about to talk about are some of the ones we're going to talk about. There were no permits. There were no permits, and these people did this on their own. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, let's pull them up. Let's do it.
Let's start with number one.
Our TV show here.
Number one's just insane to me that someone would make a balcony awning and then attach it to the window itself, because the window has no structural support. It's meant to move. It's meant to shift, and they've gone ahead and taken this framing and attached it to the windowsill. The window trim, not even the sill, the trim. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And that's just insane. You're just asking for that whole awning to collapse.
That's just ridiculous. I mean, look at that picture. It's crazy. Check us out we're streaming the show live from consumerqb.com. If you go to consumerqb.com, you can see the live stream. And it's also on WeBeam TV as well, 10 a.m. daily, WeBeam TV. All right. Picture number two?
Picture number two is more common than you'd think, because what the roofers do, and then we're looking at if you have your roof ridge, and the ridge is going to be the very top of that pyramid.
Right.
Sometimes they put penetrations like vent stacks, exhaust fans, things like that. They have to go through the roof to vent out. They'll cut a hole, and then they'll put the penetration through, and then they're supposed to flash and put stuff around it so water doesn't come in there.
Right.
In this case, it looks like I'm hoping this is a mid-level repair and not something that was just sitting up there. But
it's in work process.
In work in progress. That would be pretty neat, work in progress, but it's probably not. We'll have to talk about the other 8 though when we come back from break.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Leo's going to break it down, show you. All right, let's go back to Leo here. So Leo, we were going through these pictures,
and we need to, because I just spilled water on myself. So either get me from the neck up, or just keep showing. Like, we'll move straight into photo number 3, so you don't have to see my wet shirt.
All right.
So photo number 3 is interesting to me in that the pier itself, now we're in a crawl space, the pier is obviously leaned over, and the beam above it is twisted out of place. So it looks like that section of the house is going to fall down. The reason why this photo is so interesting to me is the pier itself was laid correctly. It's been cemented in the middle. The pier itself, there's nothing wrong with. This actually happened from an impact to the house that popped that pier out of place.
Wow.
And that's what I get from this photo. So
what happened?
I'm thinking a tree, actually, or a car hit the house.
Wow.
But this would not have happened unless something actually struck the house. Because that pier, if you look at the photo and all those blocks are together.
What about something from the bottom?
No, but just looking at that photo, it looks like an impact from above, especially when you take a look at that joist.
Yeah.
The joists are the wooden members, the piers are the concrete. When you take a look at that joist, you can see how it's twisted or torted out of shape.
So this is a home that has what they call a crawl space underneath, right?
Yes.
So it's not a slab build. It's not built on a slab.
It's not built on a slab. It's built in the crawl space. You're going to have better ventilation under there. You're going to have less radon problems. You're going to have less moisture problems if you're properly insulated underneath. So it's a better home. Typically, because slab homes are about 50, 60 years old, these homes are like over 100 years.
So radon gas, that's a good point, because a friend of mine's taken their real estate licensing. They said, why do you have to disclose lead-based paint, and then radon gas, you don't really have to disclose it as much, because it's a naturally occurring element?
It is, but I heard this, and I want to get a confirmation from Greg. I heard for radon gas, the actual normal running of an AC will actually get rid of the gas.
I'm not sure if I could intelligently comment on that. I know certain indoor air quality products would definitely address that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of products that we use that will target volatile organic compounds or things in the air, radon gas being one of those. Whether the air conditioning itself would or not, I'm not sure.
I've heard that from a number of HVAC professionals that the abatement of just running and cycling the air conditioning is enough to kick radon out. Where it becomes a problem up north is the fact that people don't have ACs like they do down here, and they have basements, and most basements don't have ACs.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense. All right, picture number 4.
Just it's a room addition. You have a chimney. Most likely this chimney's been abandoned. They just kind of left it over above the roof line. It's up against the side of the house.
Yeah.
The rule, it's called the 10-3-2 rule. Your chimney has to be
10 feet?
I always confuse the 10-3-2. It has to be so many feet above the roof line, which this one isn't. It has to be so many feet, and this is the 10. It has to be at least 10 feet away from the nearest sidewall penetration, something that could block airflow.
Right.
And then it has to have a 2. The 2 and the 3 is what I confuse. And one of them is, I think, 3 feet above the roof line, which this one isn't, and 2 feet away from anything else.
Yeah.
So this one just violates the 10-3-2 rule, and it's just up against the side of someone's house. If you use the chimney, you would backdraft, soot, and all that stuff back into the house, and it would be like living in a coal mine.
That's gross.
Yeah. Number 5 is a favorite of mine. We see this more. 5 and 7 seem to go together if we can show them both side by side or back to back. There's stuff in the breaker box. We see lizards fry themselves. We see rats fry themselves. People dumb enough to store metal tools near electricity. Aluminum is a conductor. Metal is a conductor. People are just asking to get electrocuted. So using your and we see it more often than you'd want. We'd see tools stored at the bottom, screwdrivers, the screws themselves, everything. You're asking for an arc. You're asking for the electricity to jump from where it shouldn't be,
right,
straight to that screw, straight to you.
So how does that happen during the summer too? Like, this time of year you get some issues with storms, with lightning strikes. Is that a fire hazard? I mean, it pops from the electrical box, like it'll come into there through the breakers.
Well, if you happen to be opening the box at the same time the lightning hits, that lightning's going to arc and jump from point to point. So I don't know. That's a tough one. We need to get an electrician to answer that question on the arcability. Yeah. The arc striding. We'll use arc strider since that's a computer term for video games.
There you go. I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So number 6 would be the, I'm guessing because of the conditions out there, it was a dark and stormy night. The skylight started to blow off the roof, so they decided to hold it down with a tarp and a tire.
Yeah, there you go. And they got a rope going to the nearest
that's to keep
access point.
That's to keep the tire in place.
From sliding, yeah.
Of course.
Professionally done.
Speaking of tires, now that we jump to number 8, this is an improper pier.
Okay.
3 tires and I'm not a mechanic, but the wheel chassis that the tires would be put on is not what you should use for a pier in your crawl space.
Yeah, that's
one of the biggest reasons you shouldn't is those tires are meant to compress. So you're just asking those tires to squish a little bit, and then your whole house is going to shift like it's not even like that. Those tires aren't even there.
That's all they had, I guess.
That's all they had handy. They couldn't afford the $1.80 in concrete to put under the house. They had to go find tires.
Maybe they poured. See how those bags of cement? Yeah. Maybe they poured the concrete in those tires to hold it in.
That might actually work. Actually, that might actually work, except for the fact they have the tire chassis, the wheel well on top instead of having an actual concrete or stuff. It's like use the concrete in the bags. I don't know.
Now that's a quality job right there.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Right. Number 9. I'm not going to even touch this one. Greg, take it from here.
Yeah, you've got some ductwork here that, first of all, it's not even aligned, and then the attempt was made just to use the classic duct tape to hold it together. They may have it sealed. It might not be leaking air, but it definitely is not functional. There's not proper airflow through that.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those things. When you go on Survivor, you go on the island, right? You get the choice of one weapon. You can take duct tape. You can take, I've seen some people take duct tape, right? I think I've seen some of those episodes because you can do a lot with duct tape. Yeah, but this is not proper.
That's not the proper use of duct tape. No.
Yeah, I thought duct tape is to make duct.
That's a misconception. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it can be used to repair stuff on the go. So this is an example of an insulation try, right? An epic fail here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm guessing that there was, they couldn't get the ducts aligned, so it was an attempt to put it together.
Couldn't get their ducks in a row?
Yeah, there you go. That's right. All right, next, what we got?
Speaking of not aligning, we got someone's I'm not even sure how to describe this. I don't know. They have a porch, and they have they have it, instead of being what we call cantilevered, where it's just being held up by the wall, they have posts on the front side to hold up the front side of the porch. So those are angled and not actually doing anything.
Yeah, it's weird.
So my guess is the porch is being held up by what we call cantilevering on the backside, because that front is not doing anything. And if that was truly being held up by the front, you'd see the whole porch start to dip down and fall.
Yeah, that's dangerous structure
Crazy.
right there. That is a dangerous structure.
And then we don't have a photo of this. Maybe we can find one in post. My favorite defect, which isn't on this list, is when the HVAC company cuts trusses in the attic to put an air handler up there.
Wow.
Now, can you explain to me, Greg, why anyone would do that in your industry, not saying you do, in your industry, and why they think it's okay to do that?
Yeah, we run into that all the time, where we will go in to put a system in where that has been done previously. It's unbelievable to me that anybody can think that that's acceptable, or that you can do that. And it's happens all the time. We just went behind another company a month ago that they couldn't get the air handler in, so their solution was cut the truss, get the air handler in, and then put the truss back in place. Well,
wow,
the truss is a structural member. Once that's cut,
yeah,
an engineer has to show up and make sure that it's going to work. You can't do that.
Roof starts to flatten out, then your end walls start to push out, and you get a big bowl of water on the top of your roof, and then the whole thing collapses. That's the order of operations.
Yeah, and it's possible. That's a big possibility.
And that's caused when you don't call the AC guy of Tampa Bay to do your HVAC.
That's right. Greg Bowman, the AC guy of Tampa Bay. We've got Leo Cannyn, Beryl Engineering here in studio. So hopefully you were able to see that on our TV show version on WeBeam TV, or streaming it from our website.